The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another wonderful and excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. It doesn't matter whether you're having a malt in Malta or yachting in Yalta. See what I did there? As long as you're here at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Well, we've got a market squeaker. As I said, Friday we were all about the bonds, and they were flashing some warning signs. TLT down today. My line in the sand for good and bad is 146.50. We're down $1.45 as we speak, 145.88. So below that line, the market starts to get worried. There are probably a few things that are going to start worrying the market. Probably overall for sales, we're going to have Target and Walmart this week. I suspect that they dropped the chalupa going into Friday, mostly because they don't have product. And this takes us on to our second little item of the day. On the waterfront, I could have been a contender. Well, what we do know now after Friday was that the average wait time for a ship to unload from 2 weeks ago went from 12 days at Long Beach to 17 days. So it's getting worse, not better. Going into a Christmas, Thanksgiving, really, if you're sitting there, that means that the stuff, if it just unloads, if you were lucky enough to unload it all the day, it's not going to make the day after Christmas. The day after Thanksgiving. So a lot of those big sales out there, problematic. I've ordered stuff from Amazon, and I'm getting stuff like delivery dates between December 5th and December 28th. Well, I'm glad it's not a present, and I bought my presents early. I'm glad I bought 3 months worth of food and 3 months worth of dog food, and that's going to sit in the cellar. But we don't have cellars here in Florida. It's going to sit in the pantry. And I don't know what else you can say about it other than that. We're keeping a fairly decent eye on it. But you know what? It's going to be hard for Target and Walmart to outperform when they don't have any don't have a lot of product on the shelf for Christmas, and even things like food looking fairly bare at the local Walmarts down here. That may be anecdotal, but I see pictures of it online, so maybe it's not as anecdotal as I thought. We've got a big meeting between President Xi. That's got to be like some kind of Roman numeral thing too, doesn't it? Anyway, that's tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, more and more they were threatening Australia over the weekend to nuke them if they do anything about the China invading Taiwan. So you have that. And then, of course, Russians are massing on the borders right now. And NATO's saying we'll get involved if they come across the border. But 100,000 new troops from the Putins. You got to be Putin. War and rumors of war. Lastly, I saw somebody announcing this in the den, PLTR, or not announcing it in the den, but bringing up this. It's up 38 cents. Mr. Thiel is going to Washington. He bought a fairly expensive, I'm trying to remember what it was, $10 or $20 million place to hang out there. The Planeteer folks, of course, deep into the NSA, CSA, and all that. Mr. Thiel kind of hanging out on the right side of the political spectrum, the CEO kind of on the left hand. And my guess is that these guys are going to tag team those guys. Why the House belongs to the Democrats probably for the next year. There looks like there's a big swing going to happen. Probably, I'd say 90% chance that at least the House goes back to Republicans just on redistricting. They don't need that many seats. A lot of other things going on. It could be much bigger than that. But I think Mr. Thiel is going there thinking that he will find a receptive ear for Planeteer, PLTR over the next year. As I said, when this stock came out, I've got a lot of people ask me about it. This is a fairly decent black box, and there isn't a whole lot that you're going to read about it, and it's hard to know if someone actually tells you they know something about what goes on in this company. They are probably a traitor, because almost everything they do is some kind of government secret thing. So either they're a liar or a traitor. So it's one of those black boxes, almost a Rorschach test. But I think long term, if you want to hang on to it, I think it's a great stock. In the short term, it's all about what everybody else says about it that probably came from somebody that it didn't originate with, if you get my drift. A tough one to trade, a probably a good one to hold. And as they work both sides of the aisle, from the CEO to Mr. Thiel, he's the head of the board, chairman of the board. Yeah, I'll have to look it back up. I know he's important. Certainly owns a lot of stock in it. So we'll see that. Probably the best way to go long term for them to make some dough. 877-927-6648. Anything from Hawaii has to be good. Okay. That's interesting. I enjoyed growing up there. Not the same place I left, though. I do have to say that. But we'll see it. Anyway, options continue to show that the market makers are posed for a surprise this week. I don't think it's going to be a big surprise. I think one of 20 things could happen that all move the market lower. But the easiest one to spot is Target and Walmart telling everybody what I think they should already know, and that is it's going to be a tough 2 to 3 months going forward. Those stocks are big enough to move at least the retail market. S&P right now down 3 after being up almost 15 or 18 earlier at the open. Dow's just up 11. Nasdaq's off 51. Russell's down 14. So I'm looking for kind of a counter move here in options expiration week. On the 19th, we shall return.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month, and try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
As we return, let's do a little bit of history, and then we will move on.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1971, an advertisement in the magazine Electronic News announces the Intel 4004, the first commercially available microprocessor from Intel. The 4004 was primarily used in calculators, for the first time being in the BuzzCom 141PF. In fact, it was a BuzzCom that developed the design which would become the Intel 4004. BuzzCom approached Intel to help them finalize the design and manufacture of their calculator engine. Intel's engineer reduced 12 integrated chips into just 4 integrated chips and delivered the finished product by January of 1971. Of course, by 1972 and 3, I bought my first the brain. Bomar. I'd bought one. Man, it was just neat to have LEDs and spell boobs upside down. All the other things that you could do with a hand calculator at that time. And of course, I was always enamored with anything electronic. I'd already built a shortwave receiver when I was like 10 or 11. But a Heathkit. Does anybody remember that? You used to be able to put together the kits, the Heathkit Mohican shortwave receiver. Anyway, they had an exclusive with Busycom or Buzzcom. Thought it was Buzzcom, Busycom maybe. Don't ever remember hearing too much about them. I had a exclusive for the first year. They renegotiated with Busycom and gave them half price on any of the chips that they bought, why they were allowed to sell at full retail to others. And the real kind of kickstart to Intel 8088, which would follow a few years later. Being the first is always important. 877-927-6648. I wait with bated breath fact, I took a worm off my tongue just before the show, so it's baited, it's ready to go. Everything's there. Off $5.50, $5.50 on the S&P cash as we keep an eye on it. Yeah, I think that we're in for a week that starts downside into Thanksgiving. We've got some other emails out here already too, so we'll get to those. Shorts on NVIDIA. NVDA. Well, on a daily basis, they're shorting the living daylights out of it. Let's see what we see for the... I'm not getting the binding. Let me do this. I got to get this over here out of my way. NVDA. Okay. Days to cover is just 1. And just 1%. They don't have a lot. But it looks to me a great deal. What you have is people shorting it in the morning and covering in the afternoon. But here's what your short percentages look like. About 1 out of 3 on a daily basis. So this kind of more is in the league of the shorts short it in the morning and then cover in the afternoon. But what do we have here? Let's to get a chart up of it. There we go. NVDA. Question is whether or not you broke the 3x3, and you have. So that is not good. I want to say that as it went over $300, the CEO did say that he didn't have any magic bullet. I think that's a quote, actually. He didn't have any magic bullets for the supply disruption, and that it was going to affect sales in the short term. He didn't say what that is, a week, a month, or this quarter. I suspect that everybody's going to interpret that as this quarter. So you had a couple of sideways day, you're down today, not a lot of volume. I suspect this is a buy on a pullback just because they continue to be able to sell 4 times what they can produce. But you know what? A lot of people are kind of looking at the glass half empty. But yeah, I suspect that these guys are really going to have to whiff to get lower. But I would say that even in the conference call on earnings this week, they're going to be bringing up the fact that it's not them not making stuff, but other folks not making stuff that's a little bit problematic. But yeah, long term, $1,000 company. Question is, when does this space out and start heading for $1,000? But I don't see anything in their presentation last week that makes me believe they have a lot of competition. What they have now are a lot of headwinds, mostly for supply chain issues and that. The other thing they probably will talk about, and one of the reasons why it's probably down a little bit, is the saber rattling by the Chi-Coms. If you didn't grow up during the Cold War, you wouldn't know that the Chi-Coms are the Chinese communists opposed to the capitalists on Taiwan, who split Atenlay back in 1946 and took all their toys with them. Why the communists sat in I don't know what, probably until the 1990s before they decided that, communism is kind of for the birds. So now they have kind of a capitalist society, but on social issues, it's all about the communism. And Zai, trying to relive his younger days as a Maoist, is trying to push that, but it becomes more problematic as he goes. Okay. Splunk's CEO is leaving, SPLK. Rats leaving a ship. Well, it was pretty richly valued. I think that there was a lot in here that was talked about in a buyout, and I'm not exactly sure who that was. It was either Microsoft or Oracle, from what I've read. Maybe that's part of the buyout, is getting rid of him. They didn't like him. Do not know. Look, maybe there's something else. I'll check the news. Maybe there's another reason, but that's what I heard before this. 877-927-6648.
Are you having fun trading the markets but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at TFNN.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other Tigers and Tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Well, this is interesting. As he said, there's a nebulous statement. As the board and I consider how to best position spunks for long-term success, we determine how this is the right time to transition to our next phase of leadership. And of course, they're giving it to someone else who's probably not going to be the long-term CEO. That's never good. There's always another story going on in the background. but I'll read between the lines for you if you live in Lutz, Florida. And that is, generally, if the CEO isn't going to be able to cash out big on a buyout and they give it to somebody on the board, but he remains on the board, generally it is, he's not getting some options that he can cash in big or something else. So they have a tiff. They all yell at each other, and eventually you got somebody sitting on the as the CEO who's more than likely not going to be there very long if they don't get the buyout, or if they do get the buyout, he just decided to head out the door without getting a bunch of options before that happened. Down 14%. There's nothing more. Anyway, generally when you see that, when you see they have another CEO, meant that they were giving him a boot. If somebody from the board takes over, probably a pretty good indication that there's political infighting, palace intrigue, Game of Thrones. How about that? Okay. Other things going on. On the IBB, Dave, you warned of the vaccine industrial complex a few weeks ago. The IBB's down at the lows. As I said, I think a lot of people early on were betting on mandatory vaccinations. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. As I said earlier, 10 days ago, OSHA, for trying to impart mandates, is 17-0. Right now, unless it goes to the Supreme Court, they'll be 18-0. The Congress has never given them the authority to do that. So, whatever you got now, I don't know. If you haven't gotten a shot, you're going to get one. You're pretty much committed to it, waiting to see what's happening. I don't know. But along with pushing for kids between 5 and 12 to get it, which is problematic at the least, I guess they're going to argue in court for the greater good. But generally, when the greater good is children dying to help out older folks, it doesn't go very far. And there's not a no-risk shot that has ever been invented. Even just last week, we saw that we were getting vaccine shots for, flu? And they were giving them COVID shots instead at full dose. Mix-ups happen. Things happen. Doesn't have to have bad intent. But bad things will happen. So we shall see. I don't think it goes very far, but we shall see. So on the IBB, you've got some nice light volume back into the 150, 338 low. That's back here. But if we're looking at a pharmaceutical biotech industry driven by the vaccine industrial complex, I like using that because I know it just irritates some folks. But I love the Ike comment when he was leaving about the military industrial complex, and it seems apropos for this discussion. But I think mandates are problematic at best. A lot of these lawsuits that people were pushing have already gone away, and the airlines have capitulated, some of the other ones. So, if you're thinking that the biotech's going to be reinfused with this, I think we'll probably find that the Supreme Court doesn't take the case, and it dies at the 3-judge panel from Dallas, who unanimously went against the wishes of OSHA. But that's it. I don't think that we may have seen peak vaccines and prices in the biotech space for a while. I think really if you're looking for a lot of growth in the IBB. It's going to come from a lot of other companies doing things in that same vein. But where it's not as problematic in people being forced to take something and wanting to take it. There's a lot of things that they could do for the good. So we shall see. 877-927-6648. China's action on Boeing's plane. Well, they've tried to steal everything there is. But right now, I have a feeling the 737 MAX, although it had its problems, and in fact, let's pull up Boeing. I know a lot more about this than probably anybody I've met or seen on television. There's only a couple people I know that really know the inside skinny of how the whole 737 MAX thing came to be. But it is kind of an interesting story. I don't have a lot to do for the next minute and 40 seconds, so we'll talk about it. What happened was that back, I think it was in 2010, the head of the FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board, all those guys, got a DWI. So they tossed him out and they put in a political hack. That was in 2010. This guy got rolled because he knew literally nothing. He wasn't a pilot, never flew an airplane. If he knew they had wings and a tail, I'd be surprised. The CEO of Boeing ran them through trying to get this plane out in a hurry and make some cash. But if you want to know why the FAA and the National Transportation Board missed this when just about anybody else would figure it out, put somebody where you need a lot of domain knowledge and a political hack, and that's what you get. Now, back on the Boeing thing, probably a fig leaf going into the discussions tonight with President Biden and Mr. Z. I think it's like 8 o'clock tonight, but that is. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
And as we return, got a few other things. Questions about Walmart. If you call in, let me know. The chart looked okay. Going with energy going back up in this last leg on Walmart. But what you didn't have, she got 152, and you hit it with about half the volume. So not really good. August 18th, you had 9.4 million shares. And on the 5th of November here, you had 5 million shares as you got up to those highs. There really hasn't been any volume back to about 140, 142. I think it's not the end of the world for Walmart when they come out with earnings, but it's not going to be probably anything good. Target, you kind of have the same thing today. You had better volume in Target. I suspect it's because of a lot of the difference in stuff that they actually have. You did gap up today. You've got some good volume, but you're not holding the high. Like I said, not the end of the world. Eventually, this stuff will unwind on the docks, but kind of tough to actually say anything else is going on here. We continue to be off. Come on. Don't do that. Are we actually flat? Yeah, flat on the S&Ps. Anyway, so we'll keep an eye on that. Other things going on this week. AMD continues to be heavily shorted. I actually had an update with the most viciously shorted stocks, this bi-monthly report from the exchanges that came out on Friday. But a lot of these stocks are just, like I said, huge shorting intraday and really not building it. Kind of tells me that people are shorting it in the morning and covering in the afternoon. But we still haven't broken below the 3x3 on this one, where we have on NVIDIA. So keep an eye on that. Other things going on this week with AMAT. Come on. There you go. Got a little gap up today. Not much in the way of volume on Applied Materials. Don't think a lot of these stocks are coming out. Question about Qualcomm. Of course, it did well on earnings, caught a lot of people sleeping. It's back up to the previous highs. You would have liked to seen 14 million shares, or at least 8 million shares. You got 8.5 already today. You did break up and out with 48 million shares when they surprised on earnings. In fact, they surprised me. I thought it was going to be okay, but it was better than okay, especially coming after Apple, which worried a lot of people, thinking that Apple truly was the cell phone market. Doesn't look that way from what Qualcomm's reporting. And, for Apple, we talked about it when someone wanted to short it and called in a couple of weeks ago. I was looking for 150. It didn't vary much from that. It's still at 150. Don't see much of a change. In fact, if anything, let me see if I can't bring that up. Let's see. On options for Friday. See if there was anything from Friday on Apple. Yeah. Maybe 147.50. Let me get it back up here. 148. So not a whole lot going on with Apple. Even if the market does pull back, 150 looks like a very good high. So that would be the high end of the range you should expect on Friday. The low end of that range is 148.25. That'll move around a little bit, but you got some pretty good hockey sticks right there at 150. That's probably telling you that is where this thing wants to go on Friday, down to 148. Let's call it 148.50. So maybe this thing gets a little bit better before the end of the week, 150. But pretty narrow range on Apple as we go through, at least from what the option market makers are looking for. 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. And question about the SMHs from Roger. SMH. Thanks again, Roger, for the kind words. Well, you're right at it, man. It's going to be a close number here for what we do in the next couple of days. But any close below the 3x3 would again say this thing's on a sell. Now, what I want is a couple of days down, maybe through this week, a pop above, and then the next move down would signal that you'd probably have some fairly good destruction back to 275 on the SMHs. That is not confirmed yet. So if you're long, you can sit on your hands if you want. This dips below it, you're probably going to come back to 290-ish, back above 300, and then a move back lower. That would be the good sign that this is for sale. But you know what? NVIDIA this week, probably not going to happen before then. So like I said, I'd sit on my hands unless you get a really big signal, which you do not have quite yet. Question from Ann on Snap. You still think this is the best of breed in it? I think your best risk reward. I don't like any of them for the most part. But, yeah, you're probably, if you want something that's washed out, it's still probably the best and least affected. Of course, they're a smaller company. Any changes legislatively and just morally that come out of Facebook / Metamucil would be fairly easier for them to employ, where Facebook Metamucil is a much bigger ship to turn around. And, of course, they're going to be spending a lot of time in court over in the next year. In fact, one of the best cases is coming out over the next week and a half, and that is a book by Robert Kennedy that Facebook and Amazon. Facebook's been leaning on Amazon to censor. It may be that they are linked enough with these emails to become a state actor, and then that would negate any protections on 216. That probably coming in front of the courts in the next couple of weeks. So I think that there's a good chance that eats Facebook. We'll be back in a minute.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are you looking for a secured investment which pays you on a monthly basis? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be the program for you. The best rate on a 5-year CD in the country right now, according to Bankrate.com, is paying 1% per year or $1,000 per $100,000 invested. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly, on secured, high-value, buildable properties in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment is for 4 years, paying 7% per year or $7,000 per $100,000 invested. Your investment is secured by high-value real estate in St. Petersburg, Florida. Your investment can be anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000. Do you want to make $1,000 per year on $100,000 invested or $7,000 per year on a secured Tiger First mortgage? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be just the program for you. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly. For more information, you can call 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
As we wrap up the show for yet another excellent episode of the Power Trading Hour, we wait and see. Markets are flat on the day after opening up higher. As I've said for the last few days, option market makers are thinking that absolute best we get 4,700 on Friday in the S&P cash. They are prepared for a whole lot lower. So the risk reward, at least from what the option market makers are saying, is not to the upside. The risk reward is to the downside, although you can't bet on it. But they're worried about something out there. Not exactly sure. As I said earlier in the day, I think Target and Walmart whiff on supply chain issues. Just going into any of them around my area and talking to other folks. Empty shelves means that you're either someone's hoarding stuff, but a lot of the stuff is not stuff people are hoarding. So I'm discounting that. There may be a little bit of that, but that just means if you sell that this month, you probably don't need it next month. Kind of that thing. Anyway, as I said, I think the big retailers, box stores, you see a lot of empty stuff in Home Depot. that would normally be from China. So I'm assuming that stuff's sitting on the dock, waiting to be offloaded in ships just going around in circles off the coast. So think retail probably is going to be a hard candy Christmas, maybe a lump of coal for those guys. And I'm still sticking with my theory that if you can put it on an airplane, 747 out of Korea or China, it probably gets here for Christmas, and that's probably what gets bought. So a tale of two cities. We'll see how it plays out this week, but I'm thinking some big whiffs in retail on earnings this week. So when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.